Are you ready to set your authentic self free? Welcome to Your Unapologetic Life, the podcast with me, Morgan Barkus. This podcast is full of my personal stories, advice, and strategies, as well as book recommendations to help you ditch comparison and society's standards for us women so you can finally reveal who you truly are. Are you ready to live out loud? Let's get this party started. When you finally realize and believe that you are enough, you move through the world different. And specifically, I am talking about your love life. Love Life is one of the best relationship/dating books I have ever read by Matthew Hussey. I've been following Matthew Hussey probably almost 10 years. I found him when I was living in Rancho Cucamonga, California. I was out there for work, and I had left a unhealthy relationship behind when I left South Florida to move to California for this job opportunity. And it was still plaguing me, the bad relationship. I was still in contact with this person on and off. And I was thinking that it was me, that it wasn't about that I was just picking the wrong people. It was also just like, okay, every single person that's coming into my life so far is not choosing me. Is there what is it about me? What is wrong with me? And it was a very sunny afternoon. I was standing in my rather sparse apartment in Rancho Cucamonga, and I was standing there in the mirror, and it hit me like lightning, and I just thought, "Wait a second. There is nothing wrong with me. I am enough. That person just wasn't the right person. It wasn't a match. It doesn't have anything to do with me or my self-worth." I'm not saying I was 100% cured and choosing all the right guys after that. Not even close. It was still years that I would get into a situation and I knew it wasn't right and I would stay. And it wasn't until a breakup early 2024 and a ton of journaling, and I saw a therapist for a few sessions to really talk about core beliefs and attachment theory. I got a couple books on attachment theory, and then also found Matthew Hussey's book Love Life, and he had released it, I think, earlier this in 2024 as well. So it was good timing, and I ended up listening to the book twice on audiobook as I walked my favorite nature trail where I live in Illinois, and also read the physical copy so that I could highlight things. And I like to fold pages that really hit me a certain kind of way so that I can remember and go back to that. And I would say that it's a double meaning, his book. It's called Love Life, and it's love your life and your love life. And he talks about why women get in the patterns they do, why they set their standards so low. He talks about trauma bonding, and he talks about that you're not alone. I mean, there are thousands of women thinking, why is this so hard? And if I do find someone, I got to cling on to this guy, even though in my heart of hearts, I know it's not a match. Who knows? There's like a scarcity mentality. Like, I'm going to have to hold on to this one because you never know when another one's going to come along. And I was like that in a way too. And then you realize, what's interesting is, there's so many dating coaches out there, and they're like, say this, don't say that, text this, don't text that. Um, you know, don't do this or say this till this many dates. And I really, to me, when you come into your worthiness and you truly believe you are enough exactly as you are, and you're living your best life and you're doing what you want to do, and you're open to meeting people and interacting with people. And then as soon as you're like, this isn't serving me, this isn't right, this isn't a match, and you truly know in your heart of hearts when that's the case, then you end it. And that is where I would struggle. It was the giving up because I am such a tenacious person and I want to believe in the best of people and I want to having a master's degree in marriage and family therapy and following people like Esther Perel and Dr. John Gottman and Dr. Sue Johnson. You just think, okay, so everybody's a little bit damaged. Maybe I just got to hang in there with this person and learn to communicate better with this person. And there's a point where in your heart of hearts, this isn't a match and this isn't about me. And what I have to do is be courageous enough to walk away and take the chance that the right person is out there. And I think a lot of the book has to do with that, just that knowing that in your heart of hearts, you know what you want and to not settle for anything less than that. And again, I've read a lot of relationship books. I love to read about it. I love to talk about it. If you saw my book collection, overwhelming number of the books are about sex and relationships and communication skills. Because yes, when you're in a relationship, all those things are important. You want to understand each other and your pleasure blueprints and your love languages and how to communicate your feelings without making your partner defensive or shut down. Like there are skills to being in relationship, just like anything else we do in life. And when you are with someone that is your match, it is not difficult. It is not a trick. You don't have to play by some kind of what do they call that in football? You know what I mean. Anyway, it's you don't need so much strategy. You need to trust yourself. And I cannot recommend highly enough in terms of being a single woman dating or in a situationship where you know in your heart of hearts this probably isn't what you want. This is not ideal to you. How do I get out of it? And how do I create a life? How do I get right with myself so that I attract my match and that I trust myself that when I do meet the right person, I know it's the right person because it's so interesting. I for a long time, maybe blame it on Disney. I don't think that's it. I do. I believed in the love at first sight and the chemistry and that love conquers all. And yes and no. Like Matthew Hussey says, yeah, there has to be attraction, mutual attraction. And chemistry does not equal a relationship. Esther Perel talks about that as well. And she is an awesome, world renowned therapist. Chemistry is different than a lifelong partner. And I oftentimes and that was one of the things that helped me in this book. I was running off of chemistry. Like if there was mad fireworks and there was just this like draw to each other and a lot of big feelings, I was equating that to love when in reality it's just chemistry. And Matthew talks about yes, you have to have mutual attraction, but then you also have to have commitment. You have to be able to say, are we exclusive? What is this relationship going to look like? How do you want to communicate about this or that? Like, if you're just have super strong feelings for someone and you get the butterflies and the sex is amazing, oftentimes that's just a trauma bond. And that's where, for me, going to therapy and also reading about attachment theory and learning about that and going, oh, so now when I move forward in relationship, I can recognize this about myself and why I may be bonding with this person. This isn't my life partner. This is a trauma bond, So it's very interesting um, because Matthew has been a relationship dating coach since he was 19 years old, and he recently got married. And I mean, he was tested as well because his wife now, when they were dating, she was she knew she was enough. She knew she was worthy, and she set some standards. And at first he was like, I don't know if I can meet those standards. And then he realized that he loved her. And it's just, there's a lot of stories in the book. And like I said, if you are a woman who's in a situationship or you're dating, it is a wonderful book. It is practical. It's a like good feedback. I mean, it's like what you don't want to hear, but you know you need to hear from your best guy friend in a really smart and strategic way. So again, don't walk, run to your nearest bookstore. Just kidding. Again, probably Amazon.com, so you get it delivered right to your door in a day. Love Life with Matthew Hussey. Can't recommend it enough. Thanks again for being here. Are you open to doing me a favor? Please hit that plus sign to follow this podcast, rate and review, and then share this podcast with at least one woman in your life that you care about.